Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Poetic License. It's November 2025. This open mic presents live original poetry, prose, and music. A lot of music tonight. Last night, Sue Beth Carlson and I were here in the studio taping a promo for Poetic License. And I have to say, because the theme tonight is Remember When, we were able to enjoy talking and thinking about all the times we've been at Poetic License and all the wonderful things that have happened. So it's been an integral integration with synergy and energy and creativity, and what could be better in life than to have a place where you can go and be seen and be listened to and feel a part of a collaboration. So that's where we are right now. Let's see, if you would like to champion this nonprofit organization, another way is by becoming a member of FCTV Family, which is $30 a year. Still, it's been that way for a while. And that's the single membership. And then you get a 10% discount at participating businesses in Falmouth. So, okay, and now, performers, it's going to be your turn to shine. We have a 4-minute time slot. I'll introduce you, but if you wouldn't mind saying your name again when you come to the microphone. Thank you one and all for your participation. I'm going to start us off with a poem. My family of origin has left me. I'm the last one standing. And so this poem is about the past, but it's also the way that I tend to celebrate Thanksgiving now. So it's called Missing from My Thanksgiving Table. Missing the turkey. I am not a turkey person, although I remember fighting my brother over the drumsticks. I would have been happy with just the skin. Crackling brown, salty crunch, aroma that filled the oven and filled the kitchen and filled the whole house. Smells that tugged at us to hurry and set the table. Little sister dropping the forks, so excited to be entrusted with a real job. Me crowning each plate with a fancy folded napkin. Missing mashed potatoes from a box. I yearn for earthy spuds, scalped with a paring knife like Grandma always did, peels spiraling like brown ballerinas into an endlessness as long as her days were. Woman handling the magic red-handled masher, her arms as strong as her belief in the power of love and good cooking. Missing the green bean casserole, the faux crystal tray filled with 3 kinds of pickles, 2 kinds of olives, and celery sticks. The sweet potato bake with sepia marshmallows squatting on top. Missing Dad's German digestive dessert, which is a radish and butter sandwich on rye bread. Missing the red and white can of Ready Whip standing sentry over the pumpkin pie with its pastry clown collar. Missing my brother and father roaring with the Redskins in the living room. Also missing the 2 dogs peeking from under the tablecloth with hopeful eyes and long jewel-like strands of drool. In fact, my table is bare of any edibles this year. This year, I'm dining on memories. My heart is a cornucopia filled with the loved ones long gone and those dear and distant. Giving thanks has become my mantra, a daily meal of blessings. And I have never felt so full. Thank you, thank you. Well, let's see. My sweet sister Sue, who is so close to my heart, even without her magic wand, she is the fairy of peace and goodwill. So welcome, Sue, to the microphone.
Thank you, Donna.
Hold on a second. Yeah, thanks, Jen.
Oh, can we, maybe this can go up too. I got one hand. Thank you. Thanks so much. That's great. Thanks again, Donna, my sister Donna. Well, speaking of family, I remember when my son was born. My labor progressed with the intensifying snowstorm outside the large window next to my hospital bed. And when he was born, the storm had ceased and the sun shone brightly. He goes by the middle name he was given, Samson, which means like the sun. And I remember when my son shared this poem that came to him many years ago. He's asked, as you listen to it, please close your eyes and focus on your breath or a sense of peace. Sea of Sleeping Gods by Samson Love. Raw heart, eyes wide open, birds rushing toward the ocean, acting brave just to run when the wave comes. I watch the ancient memories, countless worlds and civilizations rise and fall, universes born and dying, cosmic heartbeat melting into timeless time. I was not born of this world. I was not born of this plane. Made this body viewing higher sight, for a purpose, soul surrender, overdue divine timing. For melting into spirit, transparent light, soundless music, smiling night. I was not born of this world. I was not of this plane. I was not born to close my eyes or close my heart. I can see the history. I can feel the pain. So I wade through ordinary people day to day, or so they think, with their stained glass souls, eyes shut tight. Dormant family, sea of sleeping gods, reflections only, we are unstruck, quiet, smiling night. My son is now a Reiki practitioner, including distance healing, which is free to try and available throughout the world. His email is alchemistmc333@gmail.com. And this is a poem that came to me, Balancing Memories on My Knee. Remember when dandelions compelled us to blow their seeds upon the wind without thought as to the significance of them? Remember dancing barefoot in the sand to the music of the ocean or barefoot in the grass of an open park? Remember that moment when the swing stopped ever so briefly in midair as your stomach leapt with excitement and anticipation just before it whooshed once again, mimicking for a few moments the descent on a slide, only to rise again with the help of nimble knees and limber legs? Remember the time that the kite slowly rose, wobbling like our first steps until it achieved a balance with the wind and danced joyously for us up in the sky? Remember when we were lying on our backs looking up and suddenly seeing white puffy puppies and flowers, boats and giraffes floating in the sky above? Remember when the two-wheeled bike first stayed up as we drove forward on our own in triumph over gravity? Remember when the sounds and sights of the dancing waters as we sat beside a brook were flowing through us in a way that caused time not to exist? At the confluence of balance and joy, effort and release, we are able to achieve as adults what came so freely when we were children. It often doesn't come as freely for today's children. So however we can, let's wrap our days of carefree play, unbridled abandon, and resilient effort in a package and tie it with a bow for them to gleefully unwrap and enjoy whenever they wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Please congratulate your son for us. That was a gorgeous poem that he wrote. That was wonderful. And the one that you wrote about balancing on memories on my knee. I love that. I love that. And all the things you talked about with your son brought back memories for me too. So thank you. And now we have a friend that we first met, this talented songwriter, singer, at Manny's open mic. And we like that despite the travel time, he comes here now to be with us too once a month. So Mike LaPalme, we welcome you to the stage.
Okay, hi, I'm Mike LaPalme. Nice to be back. So in keeping with this theme here about remembering, I was having a conversation with a friend about, 3 or 4 months ago, and a good friend I've known all my life, and he was asking me about songwriting, and in the middle of the conversation, he stops and he goes, let me ask you, he goes, can you remember with any clarity the very first time you really fell head over heels in love, like you're in high school, you fall for somebody? My comment to him was, I can remember that like it was yesterday. And I sat down a couple of weeks later and wrote this song, like it was yesterday. Every now and then he thought about her, and in that moment time stood still. Although many years had slipped away, he could smell her perfume like it was yesterday. There she stood, trembling in the moonlight, a warm summer breeze, waves tapping on the shore. Reaching out, she gently took his hand, and they walked together along the sand. Some things even time cannot erase, though he claimed it was over and he'd moved on. Somewhere deep inside he knew he'd always love her, come what may. He'd always love her. gave her a piece of his heart. Nothing would ever be the same, be the same. Some things even time cannot erase. Though he claimed it was over and he'd moved on, somewhere deep inside he knew he'd always love her. Come what may, he'd always love her. He'd always love her. Like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. Like it was yesterday. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm just going to leave this.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, that was a beautiful story you told in that song. That was gorgeous. You know, all those years I spent singing in bars and crowded restaurants and, you know, with people talking and eating and everything. This setting is just like being in my living room. I don't know if you feel it too, but especially tonight for some reason, it's very intimate tonight. So people should be coming here in droves as audience members to be a part of this. It's really, really wonderful. So thanks, Mike. And now we have, Ellen Todd, who is a powerful and prolific writer. I'm so happy to share your journey. She's in the process of writing and publishing a family history. And it's just fascinating. I've never been a part of something like that before. But Ellen Todd, welcome to the microphone.
I'm Ellen Todd, and tonight I'm actually sharing a very personal story about I remember when. I remember when I was in grade school, going with my mother to deliver bags of groceries to another family in town. The school nurse had requested her help, knowing that we could afford it and that my mother would provide well-balanced food to help this family. My mother taught me the importance of helping those in need. I also remember times when I had to swallow my pride and rely on public assistance. The first was shortly after realizing I was pregnant. My then husband was supposedly opening a new territory for a life insurance company. Every day, he would leave home to call on local businesses and try to establish a clientele. Before long, I learned that he was actually shooting the breeze at the local truck stop and not even making a pretense of selling insurance. I had been working on a local farm picking strawberries to keep food on the table and gas in his car. Not an easy job for the first trimester of pregnancy. At home, I was too exhausted to tend to our sheep or our own garden, and I had to leave the job. Our pantry dwindled to contain nothing but a loaf of bread, maybe a half a loaf, and a box or two of instant chicken noodle soup packets. We had 1 stick of butter and a small block of cheddar in the fridge. By adding herbs from the garden, I was able to make flavorful meals, but I knew those supplies weren't going to last long. I insisted that we apply for food stamps. now known as SNAP. It was not easy for pregnant women to find a job in those days, so we easily qualified for this help. I was grateful for that assistance for the next few months before I left that husband, left Ohio, and returned to Massachusetts, where I had family, friends, and plans to go to school. I wanted to make a better life for my infant son. His father had disappeared, working under the table so that he couldn't be tracked by his Social Security number so that we could collect child support. I asked for help again through the welfare program, then known as AFDC, or Aid to Families with Dependent Children. That included food stamps. We ate well then, not extravagantly in 1976, but well. I shopped frugally, I took advantage of sales, and I cut coupons. I could buy fresh fruits and vegetables, and I could put a cookie or two, along with a sandwich and some fruit, into my son's lunch. I received this help for about 2 years, until I was able to get a banking job that paid enough to afford rent, food, and childcare. That job paid for me to continue my education, including an MBA. As my education increased, my wages grew, and my income taxes also increased. Over time, the increase in my taxes paid can be traced back to the help I received, and my increased taxes have more than paid for the help that I received. What was then called welfare is now called transitional assistance. The new name accurately reflects my experience of needing temporary help. I knew many others in my situation, other single moms who needed help when they received little or no child support. I knew no one who was cheating the system. I no longer worry about affording food or housing. Yet I remember when I was, I remember when I was a struggling single mother, and that reminds me to have sympathy for people who rely on that help today and to do what I can to help those in need. I wish the very wealthy in this country had that same sympathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. You're well read. Did you read Little Women when you were young, girl? That's the one that changed my ideas about, or opened my eyes about people who needed assistance. And that was a wonderful, wonderful story. Transitional assistance. That's a good way of putting it. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Well, we always tease Elaine about being our homegrown mermaid, but whatever she writes, it's full of whimsy and imagination. So, Elaine Robinson, come on up.
I'm Elaine Robinson, and I write fantasy, mostly fantasy poetry, and as winter goes along, my imagination goes further into overdrive. I'm a month behind in the theme. I have a poem and then a short story. So we're going to start with Night of the Mermaid. She flies on her broom, a magical sea lady. All Hallows Eve is her time to see the earth from the air. Her smile radiates as dolphins play, but soon she swoops by human designs. She is not noticed. Mermaids do not fly. So humans believe. Yet flowers smile at her, stars twinkle, the moon gives a grin, a wolf howls at her passing, then wags his tail. Birds fly with her, the air is soft, inviting high above, the earth. She is the mermaid of the night, a watcher of many. Up in the sky, when the sun arrives and the moon fades, she lands on a jetty, casting her broom aside. Diving into the sea bass swim beside her. Starfish, seahorses, welcome her return. And a friend of mine who read this pointed out that she'd have to sit sideways on the broom. So moving along with my other buddy, Mr. Bigfoot, I can't seem to get away from him either. This is A Unicorn Meets Bigfoot. Unicorns are not real. The large primate blinks his eyes several times, as if the sight before him will vanish. The silvery unicorn steps backwards. She is in disbelief. You are not real. You are a myth. Those berries I ate must have affected my stomach and brain. She pounds her front hoof and snorts. Bigfoots only exist in the imagination of foolish humans. The large ape rubs his eyes and sighs. He is intrigued by this beautiful horse with a gold horn on her forehead, but her attitude annoys him. She is the myth, not him. How come I've never seen you in these woods before? Her tone is as if he is trespassing. I have lived here for centuries. Where have you been? Why haven't I witnessed your presence before? Probably because you do not look for the magical in the forest. You are too human-like. Now the North American primate is really insulted. Like humans? Never. He wants to throttle her, but refrains from doing so. His companion, a Persian cat called Hairyfoot, ambles up beside him. Oh, hi, Lola. Having a good day? Bigfoot is stunned. You know this creature? The cat lets out a yawn. He just woke up from a nap. Yes, she is a nice lady, gives me catnip occasionally and lets me rub up against her horn so I can sleep more restfully. Bigfoot rolls his eyes. You sleep 14 hours a day. How come you never told me about her? You never asked. The cat starts washing his paw. Lola shakes her head and snorts again. I am surprised the mermaids didn't mention me. Bigfoot gives another huge sigh. He faces Hairyfoot. I never asked them, he states sarcastically. The unicorn laughs. I live here too in the forest. Be pleasant with me and I will sing you a tune. Bigfoot picks up the Persian cat, who continues to yawn. You surprised me. I thought unicorns did not exist. Obviously, I was incorrect. The unicorn approaches Bigfoot. Nice to meet you, oh big hairy one. You may call me Bigfoot like the humans do, and you may call me Lola like the mermaids do. Both creatures pass each other, knowing they will most likely see each other again.
Well, I wish I'd have been there. The fight of the century. Bigfoot and the unicorn. Thanks, Elaine. Okay, let's see. Wayne, you're a runner, right? Well, you know what? I always imagine you running and creating these wonderful panoramas that you bring to us every month. So I welcome you to, I can't wait to find out what it's going to be about.
Let me know when you're ready. So this is mind stuff from running. I spent 22 hours on this because I've spent 22 hours running over the past couple of weeks. And each day I'd get a piece of something to say about what I remember. My wife says I don't remember what she just told me to do 2 minutes later, but this is gonna, I hope this gets on the TV. This will show her. Okay. I remember when I first swam to the town beach in Falmouth at age 3. I was on Dad's shoulders because I could only stand up about to his knee. I remember when church communion service was finally ended and we ended up at Grandma's dinner for sauerbraten and Gläser. A 13-year-old delight to me. I remember when my sister had petticoats, lying on the bedroom floor, guess showing legs at age 15 in 1956 must have been against the law. I remember that Saturday movies were only 25 cents. And candy was a dime. Who even cared what the movie was? Those days are gone. I remember our junior high classrooms had desks and chairs nailed to the floor. Teachers were sometimes terrifying. Most kids found them just a bore. I remember and I recall South Norwood boys with 5 o'clock shadows and twice our size, wearing black clothes and carrying brass knuckles. So who looked forward to recess outside? I remember that. Love that dirty water. It was hot in 1965, but I remember sailing school on the Charles River. We had to dump the sailboat each week, then swim in that water to right the boat, to pass the sailor's test. Ooh, dirty water. I remember when almost I won the 1969 1,000-yard race in Boston Garden. I was ranked 13th and last in the group, but first for 950 yards. Then came the last turn. I remember when I left for college in Indiana and pledged to Delta Theta Phi, I would become the house bartender for parties. Not quite what my dad had in mind. I became a history and psychology instructor at Pinkerton Academy in New Hampshire, a 10-yard stay. Teaching AP level students and state championship runners all along the way. I'll always remember when meeting my future wife, Mary, at a football game. After 3 dates, I asked her to marry me. Then she laughed at me. She said 2 weeks later, I thought you were purposely, stupidly insane. I remember when our girls were born. At the LGH, I took the course to be in that delivery room. And the delivery of both those kids ran late. Poor Mary. Even the doctor and me were late too. I'll always remember, as an administrator of a middle school, when 9/11 occurred, it was my job to calm the students and parents and enact our new evacuation plan without anybody being hurt. I remember when it was time to say goodbye to my mom, birth mother, and dad. To my German godmother and godfather. When the time was had. Thank you.
That was quite a panorama. I was with you every step of the run. Thank you. And now we have our friend Jeff Brown. We met him at Shiverick's Cafe on Main Street a couple years ago. And now we get to enjoy his original songs at venues all over the place with his lovely tenor voice. Come on up, Jeff.
I too have to take advantage of Michael's stand. And hopefully with the same success as Wayne had. So this is I guess I should stop here. So this song is kind of repurposed for the theme. It's a song I wrote a fairly long time ago, and wasn't sure how good it was. Still not that sure. Guess you guys can be the judge of that. It's called "Look Back." Sometimes I look back, it's things that I've done, and there were some bad times, sometimes fun, and the best that I can do is try and move on. I just try to live like a mother told her son. Son, she said, you're not the only one. Son, she said, just do what you can and take on every day and live it to the end. And now when I look around, these things that I found, I can't help but wonder, is my foundation sound? And will I be judged by these things I've never done? I just try to live like a mother told her son. Son, she said, you're not the only one. And son, she said, just do what you can. Take on every day and live it to the end. More time behind me than I have had. And when I lay down, I think about what she said. I find myself looking for a better way, and I hope that tomorrow is better than today.
And there's some things I know now I wish I'd never learned. I've just tried to live like a mother told her son. Thank you.
I have a son who I love more than the sun and the earth and all the stars. And it's beautiful to hear a song about a mother-son relationship. So thank you so much. And I'm so excited to bring someone to the microphone who has written a gazillion limericks in his life, I believe. He's a good man, he's a helpful man, he's a talented man. That would be John Jackson.
Good evening. My name is John Jackson. My gig is limericksofprotest.com. The theme for the night is Remember When. Well, I went through the last 2 months of political limericks trying to think, remember when I wrote this? Why? What was happening? Through the magic of television, I'm here first, but you'll never see it because Tony's going to edit me in later. A road trip driving around, seeing views, means a few days not chasing the news. Relaxing, inviting, but less time for writing. The world is not mine to amuse. During Hegseth's big warrior brief, generals gave blank stares, disbelief. As God is my witness, I've got no beef with fitness. Let's start with Commander-in-Chief. Overheard in the White House, oh hell, they did not give the boss the Nobel. What do you think we should warn Helsinki? Sending ice or a nuke won't go well. LA Dodgers, from Brooklyn beginnings, added one more to their winnings. Last night beat the Jays, and part of me says it should count twice because it took 18 innings. And then the topic of the month. Fortunately, I cut out almost everything, but you'll know who I'm talking about. Epstein murdered, still no evidence, and his infamy's grown ever since. It does not take science to see his list of clients no longer names one English prince. Our humor-impaired head of state threw a party at his seaside estate. Convinced that the patsies see him as Jay Gatsby, he keeps telling himself that he's great. Dick Cheney, it's your time to go, said the devil from Hades below. Your legacy is being father to Liz. Cheney just shrugged and said, so? The Democratic facade appears cracked. Negotiating senators, in fact. Affordable care, it might not be there, but Speaker Johnson has been forced to act. A federal shutdown is a curse. Some wanted to not make it worse. If nothing was done, MAGA would have won. Moving forward is not a reverse. It took some intestinal fortitude for dear leader, billionaire, pervy dude, to say buy your first home with a 50-year loan without saying indentured servitude. I suppose it's economic and proper to stop making coins out of copper. Affordability is fickle. Penny candy's more than a nickel. What coin do we give to the pauper? The question she asked was a biggie, which got the answer, quiet, piggy. Loud vocal squirming, merely confirming he paid Epstein for girls to get jiggy. $250 million for one piece of art 'tis, an investment perhaps not the smartest. While alive, Gustav Klimt must have saved, must have scrimped. The sale supports no living artist. And with all the liberties he has taken, King Piggy's heart must be breaking. Despite all his wiles, he said, release the files, when he'd rather say, release the kraken. Thank you very much.
Well, my goodness, how did that happen? Next up is the Familiars. This is where we're going to get to really hear the wonderful, wonderful music of the Familiars, Manny and Linda and Bob and Frank. So looking forward to hearing that and seeing you again.
Everybody wants to feel this groove. Nobody's gonna miss their move. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody likes to feel this way. Nobody's gonna go away. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Walking in the desert, midday sun, knowing that you're done yet done. Hear the sound in the still, knowing that you're gonna get your fill.
You know what I'm talking about. Your lips won't move, but you want to shout. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Funny feeling that's in your head. Remembering words that were never said. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody wants to feel this groove. Nobody's gonna miss their move. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to read one last poem. This looks at my past, but also what I am anticipating will be my future. I'm involved in a group at the Unitarian Church that talks about no death, no fear, and it was through the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh that I wrote this poem. It's called In the End, and the word end is in quotation marks. In the end, scrolling through the newsreel of life, a billion stars illuminate all that was precious. Feeling again the nimble-footed rush of reflection, unbridled jubilation, and bottomless sorrow, proof of our temporary existence. Now, no winning, no losing, neither up nor down. No poetic coming, no prosaic going. Just a gentle winking out of each earthly light until I am blinded by the ecstasy, the shared illumination that is always. So, my friends, this edited performance will be shown on FCTV's Channel 6, Apple TV, Roku TV, and the YouTube channel. So, a lot of places you could go and see it once it's been posted online. And if you would like to be a performer, won't you please consider joining us next month? The next Poetic License will be Thursday, December 18th. Go to fctv.org, fctv.org, and search /PL for Poetic License to register online. And the suggested theme for December, which is the same thing we have every year, is peace. Warm thanks to our producer, Tony Sedira, to our wonderful camera crew, and of course, to our kind and courageous performers. You bring the magic to Poetic License. So, be well, dear friends. Until we meet again, peace and shine on.